forgot to tell you was I was 5 when I went to Wales, evacuating. Oh, I never told you where I went, did I? I went to Aberdare, Glanhammon Road. 123 Glanhammon Road, Cumhammon, Aberdare, that's where I went to. Lovely, lovely people. And but before I went to Wales, I forgot to tell you this. The war had already started and Birmingham was getting bombed pretty bad then. And we could hear the bombs and the guns going off. And we used to have to get into our siren suits. That's an all-in-one with a hat on, so that we were ready. So when the air raid sirens went, we were ready to go down into the shelter, which we'd got in the back garden, dug into the ground. And we used to go down, my dad would come and get me when the air raid sirens went. My mum would get Bernard, and we'd go down in the pitch black to the shelter, which was dug in the garden. My mum would always take a flask of tea and some sandwiches for us down there. And one day, you never knew when you come out of those shelters whether your house would still be there or not. And one night we went down and a bomb dropped 2 streets away where the fire station was. They were aiming for that, but they missed. And they hit the houses opposite, which was 4 houses which were razed to the ground. And then the next night a bomb dropped the front way. All our windows were knocked out with the bombs over the back. The next night another bomb went off a few streets away and all the front windows were knocked out. Now we had 11 rooms in that house and that was a lot of windows and doors that were knocked out, and it was terrible. I don't remember how they cleaned up after it because I was only a child, so I didn't know how they cleaned up after it, but it must have been one hell of a mess. And every night we would go down there and it just sounded as though the guns and the bombs that were dropping were over the fence, and it was terrifying. And you didn't come up out of those shelters, but when you did, you didn't know whether you'd come up and find your house there or not, or whether it had all been bombed and razed to the ground. And they were terrible times, and we were little kids and we used to go out when the bombs had come down. A lot of them disappeared into the ground and they didn't go off and they never found them. So those bombs are still there now because they knew where they'd come, but they used to just slide into the ground and the ground would just cover up over them, and they never knew where those bombs, and they're still there now. So one day they're going to make an appearance. But we kids, we used to just go out there and collect all the shrapnel we could collect. And I haven't got a bit of that now. I don't know what happened to it all, but I haven't got any of it now. I just thought I'd tell you that. That was before I went to Wales.